Alright guys, so welcome back. So the video we just finished, we went over the 168 again with the online tools, and um, we put in some routes, and that last route that I put in, which was CPH, I think, Copenhagen, we did have some negative demand come back at us when we put that in. So now I'm gonna show you guys how to fix that. Okay, so when you guys you start putting some routes, you're gonna notice that you do have some demands that are green, and then you might have some demands that are red. Green is good, obviously red is bad. Um, but what that simply implies is that this is how many people you have left of your demand. And let me go back to this. And what was that? It was Copenhagen. Just type that in. CPH. So yeah, let's look at this one. So you'll notice here that that my demand for this route is 34.72. Okay, and that's my price for each ticket. And of course, you got economy, business first, and then cargo. And of course, maximum turnover. What that implies is just how much I will make if I use all of this. Okay, so and that's how you read that. Okay, so now you notice that when we did when in the previous video we put in this was one of my routes in my 168. In fact, we can go to it real quick, and you notice that let me go to typical week, and let's go to Monday. Well, you know what? Yeah, wait, let's hit this one. So you'll notice that this one right here was for CPH. If I tap on Monday, there is my negative minus 98. So what that means is that if I was to just tap on it, what it's saying, that I have 98 coming back. Okay, so how do we fix that? So the easiest way to do this, now remember that when you look at your demands, so we can back up just a little bit. The way you read your demands in all your routes, it doesn't matter where you're going, what plane you're using, it makes no difference. Is that the demands will dictate what kind of plane you use, right? So if I have demands of 1200, let's say if you're just starting, you're not going to have like super big demands. You haven't unlocked anything. You're still working on your research and these kind of things. But when you buy a route, you'll have your demands. You want to try to use that up as much as you can. Now, eventually you'll find your favorite plane to use, a plane that you prefer, plane you like, whatever. But when you do that, you have to remember that the plane, when you buy your plane, and it doesn't matter what plane you get. Let's just do long haul. And you know what? Let's just look at everybody's favorite plane. Okay, so and what I'll do, this is what everybody does. In fact, do 852, and then you'll get an extra cargo out of that. So when you look at this 852, and you try to correlate that with your demands, remember that it's 852 seats in each direction. So if you remember, your flights are round trip, so remember the plane is going to go and then come back. So most of the time when people are doing their routes for their first time, they're still learning, still trying to figure out how it works. So when they start putting routes and they put a a plane that's too big, they're gonna definitely get a lot of red negative passenger demand because the plane is too big. Okay, so one thing you need to be aware of, and that's why the 380 is not a very good plane to use. You have to unlock it anyway. Not to mention, the plane costs $400 million. Okay, um, and then you have to unlock this plane anyway. So that's going to take a little while for you to get to the point where you can unlock this anyway. But I'm telling you, man, there's a whole bunch of other really good planes to use. The 380 has a lot of other costs associated with it, and a lot of people don't realize that. And um, where you find out where your other cost is if you hit the little building and then go to finances. Okay, I'm getting some lag here, and then go to cash account. Okay, and then you see flights of the day. You see this option down here that says group flights due individual. Okay, and so now I have my flights, my individual flights. Just tap any of them. Okay, it doesn't matter. Okay, and around the world we go. There we go. So you can see here that this particular plane, my turnover is 4.2 million. That includes the tickets and my ancillary. Okay, the flight costs is 409,000. That is the total from the fuel, airport, taxes. Okay, so these two you really can't get away from. Okay, but you notice how my plane, I don't have other costs. Okay, if you're flying the Airbus 380, I guarantee you probably have maybe 200,000 here. Okay, because that is a newer airplane. Okay, any plane that was built after 1997 is considered a new generation airplane, and so therefore will incur other costs. Okay, that's kind of a gray area because everybody's kind of trying to figure out what exactly that is. But you don't get this on older planes. Okay, so that's one of the advantages of flying some of the older planes. Now, I'm using the Airbus, or excuse me, I'm using the 747-200. You don't have to, because if you don't want to. This one requires you to use coins. Now, I bought the license, okay, and I'll show you guys how to acquire that license, how to do that. But if you don't want to use coins, okay, that's not a big deal. Just come over here, and you can always fly the 747-400. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that plane. That plane's actually a nice plane. It does not require coins. It is an older airplane, and look at the seat count. 660 seats on it. Okay, so now if you're factoring that for your demand, okay, that's 660 times 2. Okay, that's 1,320 on the passenger demand minimum. So if you have anything higher than that, then you can use this plane, and you'll still have some left over. Okay, if you have this plane and say you have 1,000 demand left, you're going to get negative, and you're going to get the difference from that 1,320. That's where that number comes from. So looking at that one route that we had, I decided to go to still use it, even though my demand was CP, yeah. Even though my demand was a negative 98. Okay, now you'll notice that when I hit the backspace, This guy says 0. Okay, but you got to remember when you look at it here, okay, what you're looking at is for Sunday. Okay, so if I reference any other day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, so Wednesday through, I think I actually already cleared it for the other days. I left the other ones open just for you guys so we can work on this together. So you notice that I zeroed that out already. I'm going to show you how we did that. Okay, so right now I do have a negative, I got a negative 98 on there. Okay, so I did clear it up for Wednesday through Sunday, which is why this shows 0, but I didn't do it for Monday. So if I leave that minus 98 in there, that means that on Monday and Tuesday, okay, it's going to be flying with 98 seats open. Okay, and I'm wasting fuel. So how do we fix that, right? So I mentioned in the other video that typical week manage prices, these are some pretty good buttons right here to use. And this is also why I label my planes, because if I go to typical week, okay, I can see exactly where it's over. And you can see here from Wednesday through Sunday, it's zeroed out. I did this before the video. So we'll go ahead and do Monday and Tuesday. Okay, so that minus 98 was the same all week. Okay, because I used it in the 168 circuit, and my demands were the same. So again, 7 planes, 7 routes is the way you want to go, because your demands go down evenly. Okay, so 98 isn't that bad. So now if it was a minus 200 or more, then I wouldn't have used that route. I would put something else in there, try to find something else that could fit, or just buy another route. Okay, so in this case I'm going to go ahead and fix that one because it was only a minus 98, so it wasn't that bad. Okay, so if I tap on Monday, here are my three planes. There's the first wave, second wave, and the third wave. This is on my 168 number 10, and it's my Tuesday plane. Okay, or rather my Tuesday route, I guess. And so because my plane convention is the same, so the way you read this is my route, this is my demand. I put this in, then it went down. I put this in, then it went down to this. So now I'm left with a minus 98. So what I'm going to do here, so let's go ahead and work the math out. So remember that number is a negative 98. So I'm going to minimize this, and then I'm going to bring this up, and then we'll bring up the old calculator. So what I did here is that I took the 98, okay, and what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take that 98 and divide it by 2. Okay, that's going to give me 49. Okay, so I took that 98 divided by 2, remember, because the flight is round trip. Okay, so I'm going to divide that by 2, and I get 49. What then I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract 49 from the seat count of that plane. Okay, so that 747-200 all economy is 595 seats. But I want to go ahead and take out 49 out of it, so this would be my new configuration on the economy. Okay, and anything different I'll just bump to business class. It's not a big deal. So that's how we do that. So I will minimize this, and then we'll go back to this, and now we'll hit this guy, so I can go ahead and just fix that one. So here's my configure. Right now is 595, and then I'm going to hit configure, and then I'm going to tap on the economy, and that one was 49, which is, so I want to configure it for 546, right? 546, that's our number. 546. And then, because now I have space to put a few business class in there, I'll go ahead and up that, and I'll go ahead and up the cargo. Why not? I can't do any first class. Okay, so I'd rather put something in there with the space that I lost with the economy. So, not a bad thing. So then I'll hit validate. That's going to cost you no matter what you do. So, and so now that's done, and now watch what happens when I hit the backspace. It's zeroed out. Okay, so now we know that what that number is. So when I backspace that, you notice my bar went down here. Now I can do Tuesday, and it's actually easier. So I know some people will do this. They'll actually hit one of these buttons down here, right? So you will probably want to look for it down here. I used to do that in the early days. The problem is that it doesn't, this is one little pet peeve of mine that I don't like. If you have a long naming convention, it doesn't show the whole thing. So what I do now is I just hit this button, and that way I know what exactly the plane it is. So now in my case, I'm using the same type of plane, and they're all configured the same way. So it doesn't matter which one I hit, as long as I drop this down to that new configuration. So let's do that. Config and 546. So you don't want to rush this, man. You want to take your time. 46. And then I'll up my business and just give me a couple cargo. Why not? Validate. Hit yes. And then backspace. That should go to 0, and it did. And now Copenhagen is completely used, at least on the economy side, right? I mean, now I know some of you guys might want to do the business and first class. That's up to you. Okay, you would do the same thing if you wanted to do that. If you're going to do tri-class, I recommend you use the perfect seat finder, because it's easier. That way you don't have to do all the math calculations. So it does it for you. Okay, so backspace. And so now Copenhagen is completely full. And I can see my managed prices on here. And that's what I'll make out of it. Okay. So one other thing about, since I'm on this window, let's talk some prices here. So I mentioned in the previous video that your sequence of what you should do is that when you buy a route, the first thing you should consider doing is to always use the recommended price, right? So it always puts in some arbitrary number here that's pretty close, but that's what the audit button's for. Okay, the audit button will give you the recommended amounts. Now, hopefully, and I know many of you guys have tons of audits. They're internal audits. That's what the internal is. And some of you have tons of simulation freebies, right? We all get them in the passport cards. You know, that little freebie we get every 8 hours. Or whatever the program gives us, you know, like every day, or I guess every other day, whatever. They might give us free gifts, whatever. So that's what you would use those for, okay? If for whatever reason you don't have any freebies to do an audit. An audit will set you back about 25 grand. Okay, so you can either pay that or do what I do. And so there is a nifty little, well, what I'll do real quick, that way it walks us right into this topic. I'm going to buy a route real quick, okay? Because I'm about to start another 168 circuit, which would be JNB 11. And I already have the planes, so you'll notice I never deliver my planes if I'm not using them. Here is why I don't deliver them till I'm ready to use them. Because if I hit deliver, then what's going to happen is that the program is going to assign me staff. Ooh, I need to get rid of that, by the way. Hire 7200. So your staff, the staff assignment is going to be a different value depending on the plane you have, right? So if you order a CRJ and you buy it, and then you buy a route for that, when you deliver that CRJ plane, I think they give you like 12 employees with it. But you order an Airbus 380 or a 747, it's going to be over 1,000. Okay, so they add up real quick. So if I'm not using the plane yet, then I'm not going to deliver it, because then I have to pay the salaries. So and you guys saw, I'm maxed out on my staff. See, I'm maxed out on everything. So I leave all my all the people that I have to hire, I leave them as recruits. Okay, so I did a little bit of cargo, but I'm not doing cargo anyway, so I only did it just for the heck of it, yeah, I encourage you to make sure you max out all this. This is going to give you your 500. The other 500 comes from your services, right? And that's this part right here. That's this part right here. Okay. So one thing about this is that you start moving things around, and then you can get these up to 1,000, but that depends on what you're doing. So like in my case, something I'm going to show you right now, I want you to notice what my comfort is. It's 680. Okay, notice what my cargo delivery is. It's 610. Okay, I want you to notice that. Okay, so I've got for comfort, I got 680. Okay, now I can bump up comfort by changing services. That's coming over here. Okay, services. Okay, and you'll notice that my comfort is at 180. So this plus 180 is on top of the 500. So that's where the 680 comes from. Okay, so what I did is that I traded off ancillary for some comfort. You can't max these two out at the same time. So you got to pick one or the other. So I wanted, and here is why I bumped up my comfort, because I wanted to raise my ticket price without losing so much demand. That's why I'm telling you to watch that comfort level of your airline. Everybody has that number different. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and buy a route right now. So remember that comfort was 680, my delivery was 610. So this is another 168 route I'm gonna buy, or excuse me, I'm gonna buy one route, but it's going to be part of a 168, and you guys saw that in my previous video. It was it was this right here, right? Remember this right here? So I'm gonna go over that. So I no longer come over here to buy a route. Route creation, Johannesburg. Now I gotta know what country it is. Blah blah blah. I don't do this no more. The easiest way to find a route or a buy a route, in my opinion, is to use this button right here. This button right here. Okay, you have to use the airport codes anyway, so what difference does it make? Hit expansion, and I find it very easy to just come here. JND, and then Palm, that's where I'm going, and there it is. Okay, so here is my route that I want to buy. It's 2915. I already put my airplane in here earlier. Okay, so another thing here, just looking at this window, explaining, right? So you have your kilometers. It's 12,334 kilometers. It's to Papua New Guinea. My taxes. Now I don't have any more subsidies, so I'm paying full price for this. Okay. Now I do have some external audits. This is what's called an external audit, not the internal. The internal is the audit for the ticket price. This is an external audit for the route. Okay. Now we all just got these as a gift a couple days ago. I think we got like 30 of them. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't audit anything anymore, because you saw my services, you saw my research or my staff. It was all maxed out. So I'm gonna get the max that I can get already. So I'm not gonna waste any money. If you have to pay for an audit, it's gonna set you back. I think, well, I don't know, like 8-10 million bucks, and that's a little too expensive to find out how many people for demands I'm gonna get. I need the route, so it's a class 7. It's a Cat 7 airport. Okay, so I like this right here because it's just airport code to airport code. I find it easier to just buy the route here than the other method. So I'm going to go ahead and purchase this. Yes. Okay. Alrighty. And I now own it. Okay. I now own it. So there it is. 52.36 on the economy. 220.29. Kind of what I expected. Okay. That's not bad. Okay, that is not bad. That's at least 4 planes, 4 waves from Papua New Guinea. Okay, that's not a bad route. Okay, but now I want to up the price on it. So I'm going to hit route details. Again, it's a nice little shortcut. Most people don't even realize this, or maybe some people do. I don't know. So I'm going to hit manage price now. When I come over here, okay, I get this. So this is telling me $36.65 for each ticket. My demand is $52.36, and this is what I can make if I use all of this. Okay. Now I have to audit it. Okay. Now I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't audit anymore because I use another program. Now I did not design this. Okay. Another player did. In fact, he's one of the guys that works on that website, that route finder website, the Atiad website. Okay. So what he did is that, he made this fair worksheet, this Audit Fare Calculator. Okay, and That way, I haven't even bought. I actually got the ticket price before I bought the route. I actually got this before I started the video. You guys saw that I just bought it. So you'll notice that the distance, if I go back, okay, so let me go back here real quick. Okay, one of the requirements is to know your distance, 12,334, okay, and know your comfort and your delivery speed, okay. Now you'll notice that my comfort should be 680. Okay. And my delivery speed is 610. Okay. Now look at the price. 4205. We'll just concentrate on the economy. Okay. Now I throttle this down just a little bit to 644 because I noticed there was a slight variation from the price here. So when I go to manage price, okay, and if I actually did an audit, it's going to give me the recommended prices here. Okay. Now I noticed that these prices right here, if I left it at my comfort, was about $50 more than the recommended. Now I don't know if I should use that or if I'm doing something wrong. I've reached out to Wilford to see if I am doing something wrong. I'm hoping that I'm doing something wrong, but I don't want to be greedy. So what I did is that I throttled down my comfort level to 645 or 644, and now it's telling me I should have this. Now let's see how accurate it is. I'm gonna go ahead and say yes. Okay, and I'm just waiting for it. There it is. 4165. Yep, I knew it should have been 644. See, so rather than me get too greedy on that, I would rather just match it and then reach out to the gentleman that made this and see if it's right or if I'm doing something wrong. Or he might tell me, no, leave it at 680. That's the highest price. So you'll notice that this says 641.65 and 41.65. It's on the money. Excuse me. So rather than have to pay for audits, I just use this calculator. I will make it available to you if you want it. Okay, I will put a link in the description where you can use this. Okay. Just to be full disclosure, the actual equations of how he did it is right here. Okay. Maybe you can see something that I don't see, but I don't mess with these equations. Actually, if you look at this, right, so if I highlight this cell, there's the equation up here, and it's this right here. So, oh, by the way, he did put both professional and Tycoon. Okay, so you can manipulate the cells. I made the Tycoon big with colors and bold, so I don't accidentally do this. That's why I did it. So once you guys have access to it, if you want to change the color or if you want to remove this, it's up to you. Yeah, Phoenixshade. That's his handle on Discord, and he's a math guy, and so he figured out how this all works. So I'm not going to take credit for this. So what I do is that now I can simulate this if I want to. Again, this costs if you do this. Now, if I do it, it's free for now. So you'll notice how my demand went down just a little bit, but that's because my comfort level is higher than 500. So I didn't lose too many. But what difference does it make? You're going to make that money back from the increase in your ticket. So 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, right? So I'll make sure this is in there, hit validate, hit yes. Now, if you do this manually, say if you want to type that in there, don't get greedy. Okay, I'm telling you right now, if you do something like this, like $9,000 for an economy ticket, this will go red. Okay, you will have no passengers. Just an example here, when I was doing my ticket prices for another 168 I was doing a couple days ago, I accidentally fat fingered something in the business class. Now, I don't do business class anyway, but when I was doing the routes, and I'll just show you here real quick. Oops, that's wrong. It doesn't have anything. Sorry about that. Let me get out of here. So that's kind of how you do that. Let me just come over here, Johannesburg. I'll just hit one of these. It doesn't matter. Yeah, but what happened was is that I was moving stuff in here, and I noticed that my business class was giving me like minus a negative 600 something, and I didn't know where that was coming from. And then I realized that where that was coming from was when I had set the price, I fat fingered something. I made a business class ticket $22,000 by accident, but I didn't have nobody in that class anyway, so it didn't matter. But I was able to fix it. So here's my point to this: if you accidentally put something wrong in here and you hit validate, before hitting that validate, make sure your numbers are good. You know, especially if you're going to use this right here, make sure that you have these, the same. That way you don't mess anything up, because once you hit that validate, it'll tell you. It says, hey, you can't change them for 24 hours. Okay. By the way, like I mentioned, I don't do audits and I don't do sims. I put in the highest ticket price in there, and then I hit validate. So I'm gonna get this little warning here. Hey, you didn't do a simulation or a validate on your pricing. Do you want to continue? Yes, but just make sure that your numbers are good, and you'll be okay. So, but just be aware, if you do screw that up, you can't change it till tomorrow. This leads me to another scenario here regarding changing your prices. So I'm going to get out of Johannesburg because I don't have that problem there. I do have this problem in JFK. So JFK is my first hub, okay, and man, this hub is really messed up because I didn't do 168s here. I kind of just threw routes together because I didn't know what I was doing, and so I do have a lot of routes. If I go to manage price, there's a lot of tickets in here that are not changed, but you'll notice here, this is for today, which is Sunday. Okay, so for today, this says 293. Let's see, is this one different? Yeah, you see how that's different? 293, 371. Saturday. Okay, this one's not that bad. but I do have some other routes where they're like super bad. Not Bombay. Bombay was my longest route at JFK when I first started, and I finally was able to fix it a little bit. But you can see there it says 213 for today, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. See how it jumped? Look at Tuesday. Tuesday's 213. Wednesday is 861. See, I can't change prices too much here, because if I do, it affects one thing to be aware of, guys, is that when you change prices here, it's for the whole week. It's not just for one day. That is something that a lot of players want changed in this game. They want to be able to change the prices on a daily basis rather than the week. So this is why when you do a 168, the 7 route scenario is better, because your route demands your demands go down evenly all week, so you don't have this huge variation. So you got to be careful if you're changing your prices, and say on Monday you only have one passenger left, and then you jump to Tuesday you have like 800, and then you decide to up the price thinking that it's all week 800. That one day that you have one passenger, you now have that day negative like 200 or something. So you got to be careful with that. So let's see here. That's pretty much it. Oh, I wanted to show you guys while I'm here. Aircraft purchase, long haul. I wanted to show you some of these planes with the coins. Okay, so if you are interested in buying, okay, so the best plane in here in terms of ROI, which is your return on your investment. I mean, if you look at it on a seat basis, right, you take the price of the plane and you divide it by the seats, that gives you the price per seat. Believe it or not, the Airbus, or excuse me, the 747-200 and the 300 are the best planes in the game. We can actually argue that this one right here is even better. Oops, I accidentally hit that, sorry. Which is the DC-855. But, okay, it's in that sweet spot, but look how many seats it has. So that's 189 times 2. It's a Cat 7. That's not too bad. That basically means this guy can fly anywhere. Yeah, I'm not sure if I could get it. But one thing about these planes with the coins is that don't buy it from here. See, so if I hit this, and let's say I wanted 3 of these planes, right? So forget about the plane type for a minute. I'm focusing on the coins. So if I wanted to buy like 3 of them, okay, this thing, if I buy it from here, this thing is going to cost me 228 million plus 60 coins. If you want to use this plane a lot, do not buy planes from here. Buy the license. Okay, so where you do that, it's not even in the app. You have to come over here. Okay, let me minimize this. Go to the website. Okay, and then let me go to AM on the web. Excuse me. Okay, so I'm now here on the web. You guys probably recognized it. Okay, now you see this right here, the shop. Okay, hit the shop button. Okay, and then scroll down here and then hit aircrafts, and then assuming you've played Bob enough to collect coins, because that's the only way you're going to do it, there's the plane. And all I'm going to do here is that I'm going to buy this license with 200 coins, Once I've done that, then I can come back here. Okay, long haul. I will no longer see this here. The coin part of it will be gone. I just have to pay the price. Okay, so so when you buy whatever aircraft you want, now I bought the 747 200 and the 300. Oh, it's not even going to show up here. Yeah, I guess it doesn't show up here anymore. Yeah, so there's the 100. I'm kind of hoping they put a classic, the L1011. I wouldn't be surprised if it costs coins, but the good old Delta L1011. I'm sure some of you guys remember that one. But yeah, so if I wanted to buy this guy, I could do that, and I believe I can buy it because I do have over 200 coins. I think I got 220. If I click this, oh, there it is right here. There's the 220. So I could buy that license if I wanted to, but I don't want to. Not yet anyway. So yeah, that's how you buy the license, guys. So just hit the little gold wings right here, and then hit aircrafts, and then if you're playing Bob a lot, that's the only way you're gonna get coins, unless you want to pay with real money. That's up to you. And then you can buy your classic airplane, and now you own the license, you own the right to fly that plane, and that's how that works. Be careful with the 200B and the 200F. This is a freighter. Okay, this one's a cargo. The one I fly a lot, in fact, it's the one with my biggest fleet. Well, I'll just show you. I think it's under network. I don't use the web too much, guys. I'm kind of not used to it. I think it's here. What is it? I click on my name. No, that's not it. Here. I know a lot of other players. Yeah, here it is. So network fleet. Yeah, this is, yeah, here we go. Yeah. See, I have a lot of planes here I need to pull out. Okay. And then I got the freebies. I do have some very short routes. I've got one route going into my hometown, which is a Cat 4 airport. So I'm kind of flying there for fun. In my opinion, I think this one right here is the best short haul. The short medium haul. I like this plane. This one's not bad. It's got a big seat count too. But I've got the 300. I've got 300 of those. And then I've got a 200 with 1164. But look, I also have a couple of Airbuses. Not that many though. I haven't flown them in a while. I almost decided to pull them out, sell them, and replace them with the 300, or excuse me, the 300 or 200. But they're paid for. They're like 600% profit now, so it's like, oh, I'll just leave them there. So yeah, and that's mine. I made a Delta livery because I'm a million-mile flyer on Delta, so I tried to do this for my entire fleet, but I was only able to do it for the 777, so yeah, it's a shame they retired them. So anyway, so that's it, guys. I think I covered everything that I wanted to. If I didn't, please let me know, and I'd be more than happy to go over it with you. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, got something out of it. The important thing is to, when you get rid of those negative demands, remember, take that negative number, divide by 2, that number, subtract it from the seat count of the plane. That's it, just the seat count of the plane, and then reconfigure your plane with that number. And that'll bring your demand to 0 or 1. Oh, by the way, if the subtraction, if the division part comes up to like 13.5 or 14.5, round up, always round up, because you can't do decimal notation on here, so round up, or otherwise you'll have a -1. When you round up, it'll give you a +1. So I'm sure you guys noticed that I have quite a few bit of routes that are 1. I couldn't exactly zero that out, not without eating into the doing the business class, and I didn't want to mess with it, so I said, 1's okay. He can catch the next flight. Okay. So, alright guys, so I hope this video was enjoyable, and thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.